Hello, welcome back to Happy Apple Core Homestead. If you saw my last video, we were talking about processing pumpkins. This is going to be kind of a two-part thing. Well, this being the second part. Those are going to sit over there and cool off, and I will pop a link down below so you can see the first video on processing pumpkin for freezing if you haven't seen it already. This video specifically is going to be just about roasting pumpkin seeds. So once you have all of this goo, I find it helpful to have a bowl of warm water, and you're just going to dig in, and you're not going to be, too particular about it, but you're just going to pull the seeds off and put them in the water. So try to get, I wouldn't be like meticulous about it because it's going to go through another process once we get the seeds into the warm water. The seeds tend to float, and this is just what works for me. You can clean your seeds however you want, but this process will go relatively fast, faster than you think. After we get all of the seeds into the bowl, we'll select the ones that look the nicest. You're not gonna want the shriveled up seeds, or I don't know. I do keep the ones that accidentally got cut with the knife, like this one. Not sure if you can see that, but it's cut in half. It'll still be fine. But there's some shriveled up ones. I don't know if I can find an example for you. I saw them when I was cutting them open, like this one. If you can see that, it's a little bit more shriveled up. It's going in the bowl for now. I will separate them out later. And ones that are not fully seeded, see if I can find one of those. Anyway, ones that are like totally flat and that you can tell that they don't have a seed in them, they're like translucent a little bit. They all just go to the chickens. Oh, here's a good example. Whoa. Also, they're not gonna come off of the goo. You're probably not even gonna try to fuss with them. Good idea, by the way. So, there's that. And that's it, folks. You're just gonna go through your goo pile, take out the seeds, pop them in the warm water boil, pop them in the warm water bowl. And all of the leftover goo, if you have chickens, they love this stuff. Oh my gosh. Feed them to your chickens. If you don't have chickens, then put them in your garden compost. I would be careful about the seeds, only in the sense that you might get some volunteer pumpkin plants. It's not that big of a deal, but just so you know, it could happen. I noticed that if I'm wandering around from the house to the chicken coop and I drop a pumpkin seed on the ground, boom, I've got a pumpkin plant in my yard. Not necessarily a bad thing. My husband, he's just gonna mow over it anyway. But nothing wrong with having a few extra pumpkin plants if you've got chickens or goats or whatever that like to eat them. Or you can eat them. Oh my gosh, can't believe I didn't think of that first. All right, I am going to turn the camera off while I finish this up, and I'll show you what it looks like after that. Then we'll go to the next step. See you soon. Here's what's left over from the 2 batches of goo, and here are the seeds. As you can see, there are seeds still in here. That's okay. Those are funky looking seeds, transparent seeds, immature seeds, and so my chickens are going to love that. This batch here, as you can see, still has some chunks in it. It's going to need to go through an additional rinsing and washing process. We'll show that to you next. Now that we have all of the seeds and 99% of the goo, taken out and just sitting in a bowl of water here. We're going to get a colander and start rinsing out, you know, try to get some of this extra stuff out. And we want to get the seeds as clean as possible. They're super slippery, and I do find that putting them in a bowl of water and letting them soak for a little while is beneficial in, you know, removing all of the extra stuff that we don't want. Let's get right to it. Let me use some warm water. My hands don't like it when it's cold. All right, and in it goes. All right, folks, I'm not gonna lie to you. With this many seeds, this is a tedious process. You might be able to see from the last clip to this one, the sun is going down. This is just not a fast process. Maybe one of you have some tips for me, I don't know. But I'm gonna show you what I've been doing. I showed you before, just kind of putting it through the colander, but I was finding that I really wasn't getting the pieces out. I have a couple of bowls here. And you can kind of see these are clean, totally 100% clean seeds. They're ready to process, but yet we still have, oh my gosh, ew, you look at that. Okay, we have a lot of work yet to do. I mean, we're basically 3/4 of the way through this, but I thought I would just pop back in and check in with you and show you kind of how I'm making sure that all of the bad seeds and all of the extra goo and strings are coming out. And I found that this is, believe it or not, a faster way to do it. So, I don't know, I hope you can see this. We'll trust the new camera to do its job. So, basically I'm just putting a bunch of seeds in my hand, and I have a colander here in the sink. And I'm just, this allows me to get the larger pieces out and kind of filter out the, there's some seeds in here that are pretty, I don't know, like translucent, like, I don't know, that one. It's really not worth it to fuss with that one. It doesn't have a seed in it. It just is, it's immature. So I've taken to this method here, which seems to go a little bit faster than trying to clean them in the colander, and then I'd have to go through them a second time. So this actually just eliminates a step. It feels like it's taking forever. If you're like me and you cannot stand to sit and do this fiddly work for a long period of time, I highly suggest putting on your favorite show or your favorite music, some YouTube videos. I'm listening to a podcast myself. I haven't turned it off right now, but so yeah, see this guy, like, there's nothing on it but the skin, and it's just gonna make the final product better if those are not included. Anyway, put on your music. If you have a housemate or a partner or some kids or some friends that, you know, I know it's COVID, but if you have somebody in your household that can help you, this will go so much faster. And we really did have a lot of pumpkins that we were doing. So normally if you're just processing your Halloween pumpkin or just a couple that you got, this wouldn't be such an arduous chore. But we had over 20 sugar pumpkins. I want to say we had, I don't know, never mind, I don't know. I know it was over 20 for sure. So there's a lot of seeds in there, and I don't, you know me, I don't want to waste anything. I want to do the best we can to use everything in a, you know, in a way that honors the plant and honors our body. And so sometimes you just, you know, you have to take the time to go through the process, and it's not always lickety-split. So I just wanted to hop on here really quick, kind of mid-journey, to share with you that Sometimes this work takes a long time, but it's totally worth it in the end. And if any of you have a tried and true method, you know, preferably without too much machinery or whatnot, that can do this process better, I want to hear from you. I have got to hear your method, because I'm pretty much dying of boredom over here. And I'm just like doing this and looking out the window at the dogs playing, and I'm like, oh, I'm a human, but if I was a dog, I would be having so much fun right now. But I'm not a dog, I'm a human. So we're gonna just continue to finish this up, and as soon as I'm done getting all of these beautiful seeds ready, we'll bounce to the next step of making them edible. One thing, I have to mention it now or later, I might as well do it now. A lot of people will either soak or boil their seeds to soften them up a little bit for digestion purposes. Anyway, normally I don't, but because, who cares for because? Anyway, I ended up soaking them. I didn't do it on purpose because of my gut, but it's gonna work out nice because then I can feed these seeds to even people that can't normally eat them. You can boil them or you can soak them. I highly suggest, if you're doing it for gut purposes, do not boil them. This is my opinion. There's nutrients that are lost in the process of heating anything, okay? I think probably if you're watching this, you already know that. If you're going to soak them, just soak them overnight. I mean, I happened to put mine in warm water because I had these grand ideas that I was going to get them all dealt with right away, and I couldn't, so I had to put them in the fridge. I'm all about food safety, you guys. Be about food safety. I mean, not like crazy in the sense that, oh, don't can this or don't freeze that. You know, if it worked for our great-great-grandparents, it's probably gonna work for us. Okay, that's a whole nother video. Please don't send me hate messages. I'm not canning my pumpkins. I'm just freezing them. It's totally USD safe. Anyway, you can soak them if you want to. They might be easier to digest. People boil them. I don't recommend it. Try to keep as much nutrients in your food as possible, which means you want to keep them as whole as possible. Besides, we're already going to be heating them up in the oven a little bit later. Okay, I'm going to finish these up, and then we'll get to seasoning and roasting. All right, finally, the seeds are washed. They're beautiful. They're rinsed off. And we're just going to give ourselves a head start by spreading them out on a paper towel, and there's a towel underneath here. I don't normally do this, but I'm doing it this time because, oh dear, sorry for the noise. The wetter they are when they go into the oven, the longer it takes for them to dry, right? Makes sense. Word to the wise, do not do what I did. Do not line, if you're trying to dry your pumpkin seeds, do not line them with paper towel. I thought I was gonna be clever, and I thought I'd done it before, but obviously not. And so many of them stuck, and they're glued on. So what I was anticipating was, oh, I'm not going to get little fibers from the towel on my pumpkin seeds, and instead I have paper on them. So yeah, this ended up being quite a bit of waste, and I'm very disappointed in myself. Lesson learned. Learn from me. Now the pumpkin seeds are ready to spice and put into the oven. I have a couple of pans here that have been lined with parchment paper, and the ovens are set to 350 degrees. Now you can put any spices in your pumpkin seeds that you like. You can make them sweet with a little bit of sugar and cinnamon, or you can make them savory with some salt and pepper. You can put garlic in them, paprika, really any of your favorite seasonings can go right into your pumpkin seeds. So I just start with a little bit of oil. Give that a good stir. And in goes the salt and pepper. I like them really salty. Can you tell? And once they're well mixed, just set them out onto the baking sheet in a pretty nice even layer. That you don't want it to be too bunched up, but spread them out a little bit, just like this. Yeah, there we go. That's all there is to it. So they're gonna go into the oven now for, I don't know, about 15 minutes or so until they're golden brown. You can do a higher temperature and cook them a little bit faster. I'm gonna do kind of low and slow. Either way, they're gonna turn out wonderful. Now that those are in the oven, I will see you back with the next step. The pumpkin seeds have come out of the oven. They're nice and golden brown. Now all we have to do is decide how we want to store them. They last for a few days on the counter. Definitely a lot longer than that if you put them in the fridge, which I do. And if you have a ton and you know you're not going to eat them up, just put them in the freezer. You can put them in a Ziploc bag, you can put them in a jar with a nice tight lid, or you can vacuum seal them. Entirely and completely up to you. In our house, they're gonna go really fast, so I'm not going to store them in any kind of fancy way. We're just gonna gobble them up. Well, thank you so much for watching this video. I sure do appreciate you being on this journey with me, learning how to be more self-sufficient. Let me know if you have any ideas or suggestions, things that you would like to see a video on, something that you would like to learn more about. And I will see if it's something in my wheelhouse. I will definitely do a video on that for you guys. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and yeah, I will see you next time, okay? Bye!